The epic battle between Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby just got dirty. It seems that it's dawned on Team Willoughby that they just can't shut Phillip Schofield up. So what do? Well, it's what these PR types of people always do. If all else fails, discredit your target. Not that he needs it, yet. They must now be getting very concerned about Phillip Schofield's determined mission to destroy his former bestie, and of course, how that will affect her bank balance. Now following his savage attack on her, Holly Willoughby has decided she never wants to speak to Phillip Schofield again, after he called her the witch that brought him down, and her TV producer husband Dan Baldwin is reportedly furious. A source said, "The friendship between Holly and Phil is well and truly over. There is no way she is going to speak to him again after this." And from rumors he refers to her as the witch, in messages with friends, and his barbed jibe about the 3 S's in showbiz on his Channel 5 show Cast Away. Holly's hubby Dan has well and truly had enough. Wow. Holly Willoughby's team will now be desperately scrabbling around in the mud, looking for anything they can get their grubby mitts on to shut Phillip Schofield up for good. After his witch attack on Holly Willoughby, and the suggestion she brought him down, the gloves are well and truly off. And it seems her team have already stooped to a new low, resorting to attacking Phillip's mental state, the usual MO when all else has failed, in our opinion. First off, they lashed out at Phil with the accusation that he is blaming women for his downfall, a strong angle to start with, more on that later. But that wasn't enough to stop him. Now they seem to be calling his mental state into question, asking, has Phillip lost the plot? Ouch. Our attention was drawn to one article in particular, by a publication that always seems to be on Team Willoughby's side, which had the headline, "Phil Schofield has lost the plot." Holly's friends call him sick, as he hurls new slurs at her in bitter email. It makes for an interesting read, which goes down the jealousy route, suggesting that Phillip Schofield is not happy that his career lies in the gutter while Holly Willoughby is still one of the most sought-after women in show business. It states that one of Phillip Schofield's former colleagues rang the author of the article to say, "He really has lost the plot now, hasn't he?" And goes on to quote an insider who says, "Phil always took the credit for Holly's success. And boy did he like to tell people that, including Holly. She, of course, knew he orchestrated the opportunity and was always very grateful, but it was thrown in her face quite a lot. How long did Holly have to keep thanking him for?" But now Phil is coming across as increasingly bitter about the end of his career at ITV, and he is totally rewriting history. And in response to Phillip's accusations that Holly didn't back him, as his career imploded, a friend says, that would have been a stupid thing to do. Why would she have done that? What was she supposed to do? Put an advert out saying he was great? The article goes on to say that Holly Willoughby once said how much she hates it when women are blamed for a man's misdemeanors, and that it is one of her big bugbears, and she spoke passionately about it. "This is exactly what Phil is doing now," said a source familiar with the situation. "He is entirely forgetting that he stood down from This Morning, and then quit ITV as a whole, after admitting to having an affair with a much younger colleague. How on earth was that Holly's fault? Phil is lashing out at her, presumably because he's bitter. It's a case of let's blame the woman. He clearly wanted to reignite this feud, and he's got exactly what he wants." One show business insider said, "You can see what Phil is doing. He is angry, and he is taking his moment in the limelight, slinging more mud while people are interested in him. Phil's career ended because he lied. He resigned from ITV when he lied about having an affair with a much younger colleague. To say this is Holly's fault is just ridiculous. Talk about blame the woman. When we read that Holly's team is going along the line of she's standing up for women, and that her bugbear is that women are blamed for a man's misdemeanors, we immediately thought of Holly Willoughby's lewd antics on Celebrity Juice, which could hardly be called women backing women, just in our own opinion, of course. We have long felt that that show in particular warped the minds of young men over many years, and in effect, may have contributed to women being viewed as objects. Again, just in our own opinion, of course. So for Holly Willoughby to come out now in defense of women, seems to us to be rather ironic. We digress. Back to the article. Friends of Holly point to the fact that she was entirely vindicated for her falling out with Phillip, after it emerged that he had lied about his relationship with a younger colleague. A source said, "Phil is a self-confessed and proven liar, so things he says have to be taken with a pinch of salt." He lied to his colleagues, his employers, and the media. Let's not forget that. Friends of Holly Willoughby also point out how sick it is that Phillip is lashing out at her in emails, via friends, and in coded references on Cast Away, given the terrifying plot against her by security guard Gavin Plum, who was sentenced to a minimum of 16 years for planning to kidnap her. Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby's friendship took a turn for the worse, allegedly after Phil's brother confessed to him, although sources close to Holly say he did not. A source says, both Holly and ITV say that Phil told them he had gone to the police about his brother after he confessed it all, but she insists he didn't. That is where the fallout got really bad. So what was she supposed to do? Put out a statement then? That's just ridiculous. Also, the article alleges that ITV were growing fed up with Phil in general. Rumblings of his relationship with his much younger colleague were starting to circulate, and sources on This Morning say that editor Martin Frizzell was growing tired of clearing up Schofield's mess, and, after years of close friendship, he backed away. In the end, they simply didn't like Phil, says an ITV insider. The article continues. Allegedly, sources at the channel also say when things got difficult, Phil would tell his bosses that he feared he would end it all, as he revealed on Cast Away. Following Phil's admission to lying about an affair, Holly took some time off, but returned to the This Morning sofa last June when she hosted with Josie Gibson, and began the show with the now famous address to viewers. Firstly, are you okay? I hope so. At that time, allegedly, there was some communication between Phil and Holly, but it was somewhat frosty. Phil did get back in touch with her when her kidnap ordeal became public. But that all seems like a long time ago now, said one source close to the former friends. Phil was kind then, but now his gloves are well and truly off. As for Holly, she refused to be drawn into the row, with reports suggesting she couldn't care less. It certainly doesn't look like it to us. TV insiders are now said to be concerned that the feud is now gathering steam again. Phil seems determined to keep going and going on this, said one friend of Holly's. You just have to remember that Phil lied to a lot of people in his life, so why would he be telling the truth now? That's a good question, isn't it? Why would loose cannon Phillip Schofield be telling the truth now? What possible motive would he have for dredging all of this up again, drawing the nation's attention back to things one would assume you'd want forgotten? Why remind people of his own brother's heinous crimes and his lie about his affair with a young runner, just so he can knock Holly Willoughby off her pedestal? It doesn't really make any sense, does it? Not when he has a family to think of. Why would they want all of this scandal brought up again? Well, for starters, he has a TV career to reignite, yet somehow that doesn't seem worth it, not when you are approaching retirement. No, something much bigger is going down, in our opinion. When someone who has spent a lifetime in show business and has nothing left to lose and a family to protect, it's a very dangerous position to be in, especially when you are the gatekeeper of secrets. Like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only.